Christianity has played a vital role throughout British history. In every town and village across England there is a church. In this video we will look at some architectural styles in English churches. We will look at 2 cathedrals and 2 chapels: York Cathedral, St Albans Cathedral, King's College Chapel in Cambridge, and the chapel of the Old Royal Naval College in Greenwich, London. Do you know the difference between a cathedral, church and chapel? Perhaps the simplest way to think of it is to say that a cathedral serves a large geographical area called a diocese. A church serves a parish, which basically means a town or village. And a chapel serves an organisation, such as a school or hospital. But we will concentrate on architecture. We will look at 3 main periods: Norman, Gothic, subdivided into Early English, Decorated Gothic and Perpendicular Gothic, and English Renaissance. Let's start with Norman style. The main characteristic of Norman architecture is a semicircular arch. Here we can see a typical Norman arch in St Albans Cathedral. But notice how there are 2 different styles in this picture. On the right is Norman architecture. On the left is Gothic architecture. In 1323, part of the cathedral collapsed and it was rebuilt in Gothic style. One of the key features of Gothic architecture is the pointed arch. Here we can see examples in a stained glass window, the ceiling, and on the walls. At this point, you might be asking yourself a question. Why are there different styles in the same cathedral? Well, cathedrals took a very long time to build, often a number of centuries. Sometimes they needed to be repaired or rebuilt. And over time, fashion and technology changed. There are actually very few English cathedrals that are completely, or even almost completely, in a single style. St Albans Cathedral is a good example of a cathedral with many styles. It has Norman arches, Gothic arches and decorations, choir seats and floor tiles from the 19th century, and an entrance hall and education centre opened in the 1980s. And St Albans has one more piece of interesting history. St Albans used to be an important Roman town. There are many Roman ruins, including this theatre, where there used to be plays and occasionally gladiator fights. When the Normans started building St Albans Cathedral in the 11th century, they used many pieces of stone from Roman ruins. Stone from this theatre was probably used too. So some parts of the cathedral are only 30 years old. The Norman arches are nearly 1,000 years old, and some of the building materials date back over 1,600 years to Roman times. Let's now look at some of the features of the 3 periods of Gothic style. We are at York Cathedral, which is the largest Gothic cathedral in Northern Europe. Let's concentrate on stained glass windows. These windows are from the early English period. Notice the pointed arches, but simple design. And here's a view from outside. The next windows are from the decorated Gothic style. This is a typical decorated Gothic window in St Albans Cathedral. Notice the elaborate decorations towards the top. And this is a window at York Cathedral. Its nickname is Heart of Yorkshire. We are up on the roof of York Cathedral. We have a spectacular view of the city. But up here we have a chance to see another feature of Gothic architecture. These are called buttresses. They support the weight of the roof and allowed the roofs of Gothic cathedrals to become higher and more decorated. Finally, let's look at perpendicular style. In perpendicular style, there are many vertical lines. In this style, the pictures in the glass are more important than the stone decorations. One of the best examples of perpendicular style architecture is King's College Chapel in Cambridge. This magnificent chapel seems to reach up to the sky. Next, let's look at Renaissance style architecture. We are at the Old Royal Naval College in Greenwich, London. It was built as a hospital for sailors before being converted to a naval college. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is the chapel. It is in a neoclassical style. Notice how the key point of the design has changed from stonework to painting and carving. We have looked mainly at aspects of design and decoration, but to end with, let's think about the shape of the building as a whole. First, in the roofs of the buildings we have looked at, one can also see the progression of construction technology, from tower to spire to dome. Second, have you noticed something about the shape of York Cathedral and St Albans Cathedral? Look at these pictures of St Albans. The answer is that the cathedral is built in the shape of a cross. Many other cathedrals are too. One theory is that cathedrals were built in the shape of a cross to represent the cross on which Jesus died. But the more common theory is that the cross shape provided extra space and stability to the tower. In the next video in the Introducing England series, we will look at an English invention that now exists in every country: the train.